policies too, for sure. Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV AM News live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Mufwegbe. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his support for a robust public-private sector partnership to grow the economy, saying that his administration's sustained, bold and coordinated reforms are anchored on a strong adherence to accountability and transparency. Speaking on Thursday in Abuja with members of the board and management of the Nigeria Economic Support Group, NESG, and the president reiterated his unequivocal resolve to fully implement the 8 priority reform areas under the Renewed Hope agenda within the next 3 years. President Tinubu emphasized that Nigeria is blessed with rich human and natural resources, in addition to deficit opportunities which can quickly be leveraged into new prosperity, calling for the urgent exploitation of Nigeria's diversity for collective gain, with an eye on new think tanks in the agricultural sector and the establishment of a commodity exchange. The president noted that he was elected on a no-excuses platform for Renewed Hope and that he will not accept excuses from anyone in his government as they set out to deliver on his agenda. Senator representing Zamfara West's Abdulaziz Yari says some parts of the state recorded progress recently in the fight against insecurity as a result of intervention by President Bola Tinubu through the Office of the National Security Advisor. Yari, who was on his first official visit to President Tinubu since he assumed office at the State House, Abuja, added that the president is working closely with the security chiefs to further address the security challenges in the Northwest and across the country. Judith Peters tells us more.
Senator Yari says there is no close relationship between mining and insecurity in Zamfara state, alleging that cattle rustling and miners are mostly responsible for the crisis.
I want to look at it and study carefully the relationship between the mining and the insecurity. This insecurity are either cattle rustling or human abduction. So if you look at it, and then you say mining, so what is it? So why we are saying the relationship between the insecurity and the mining are not together? For one reason, the local will be attacked almost on a daily basis. While people are doing the mining, are being free, so no any wahala. So they start to put two together and said, okay, either those that are doing the mining are supporting the bandit or they are giving the whatever support it is in any way, or they are together because they have, if there's money, they're mining gold or some minerals, that they should go and attack them. But there's no attack in that area, in that place, and they are neighbor just by the border. So what is happening? So they now protested that those people must leave the place.
Yari, while pleading his support for the current administration, advised the government to continue the good reforms and programs it has started, citing the removal of petrol subsidy as a step in the right direction.
The subsidy is become something since Obasanjo's time, down to Yar'Adua, down to Jonathan, down to Muhammadu Buhari. They are looking how are we going to do with the issue of subsidy. But because we, in the main problem, we know what it is. We know the trouble that is in, and we know the suspicion that we have in when we talk of issue of corruption, what is there in, you cannot ascertain, you cannot set the numbers. So what is the best for us? How can we keep it aside and then we move forward? Because if you did not, the issue will remain as it is and the problem will remain as it is, and we need more and more resources to develop infrastructure in Nigeria, to develop other sector of the economy, but we're putting it on something that we're not sure of what we're doing. So that decision has been taken by the government immediately, and that's part of what we are going to discuss and see how it's going to benefit Nigeria more.
The Zamfara West Senator also congratulated the Nigeria leader on his victory in the 2023 general election while wishing the administration well.
President Bola Tinubu has met with members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs behind closed doors at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Members of the NSCIA were led to the meeting by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar. Speaking to State House correspondents, Minister of Information and International Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who disclosed issues discussed at the meeting, said that President Tinubu had urged the Islamic scholars to be at the forefront of fostering national unity and societal integration. Let's turn to the stories now. The Armed Forces of Nigeria says the ongoing counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations across the country remain critical to the armed forces' efforts to achieve peace and ensure that violent extremist groups do not find safe haven in the country. Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known while briefing journalists on the operational activities of the Nigerian military in the last 2 weeks. He stated that the focus of the military is to conduct its operations in support of national security interests, adding that the armed forces will continue to work with supportive groups to defeat any entity undermining security and safety in Nigeria. Kikelamo Okere brings us details.
Major General Buba noted that during the week leading to 31st of August 2023, the military neutralized 39 terrorists and arrested 157, stating that troops also rescued 109 kidnapped hostages. He also noted that the troops of Operation Safe Haven conducted raids and recovered arms in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The operation resulted in neutralized terrorists, arrested of notorious armed robbers, and rescue of kidnapped hostages in Jema local government area of Kaduna State.
Arrested 33 of them, rescued 40 kidnapped hostages, among others. More on the northwest, where we have Operation Wild Punch. Troops of Operation Wild Punch in the fight against terrorists rescued kidnapped hostages at Chikun and Birnin-Gwari local government areas of Kaduna State. Troops' offensive actions resulted in the arrest of suspected terrorists and the recovery of arms and ammunition.
Troops of Operation Delta Safe sustained the momentum against the activities of crude oil theft. Troops destroyed several illegal refining sites and recovered stolen products. Troops also intercepted and destroyed vehicles loaded with illegal refined products in Ugeli and Elema local government area of Delta State and Rivers State, respectively. However, troops arrested 16 perpetrators of oil theft and denied them of the sum of 765,863,000 naira.
On the 21st of August, Air Component conducted air interdiction over active illegal refining sites at ABC and Idama. The targets were engaged, destroying equipment and reservoirs used by the crude oil thieves. Additionally, the air component destroyed a boat fully loaded with illegal refined products sited within the general area.
The Military High Command says it will continue to pursue aggressive military operations against violent extremist groups seeking to undermine the security of the country and conduct violence against the people. Kikellomo Okeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Nigerian Army has called on the Civilian Joint Task Force to avoid extrajudicial killings and respect human rights while carrying out its responsibilities of protecting their communities against the bandits in Zamfara State. Commander 1 Brigade of the Nigerian Army Gusau, Brigadier General Sani Ahmed, made the call during a donation of 100 sets of Bofeng communication radios as part of the Army's corporate social responsibility to the host communities and to enhance the operational capacity of the Civilian Joint Task Force, CJTF, in the state towards restoring peace and security. Sandra Akbar has details.
Commander 1 Brigade of the Nigerian Army Gusau, Brigadier General Sani Ahmed, explained that the donation of 100 sets of communication radios to members is to improve civil-military cooperation and to aid the Civilian Joint Task Force in carrying out their responsibilities in securing lives and properties in their various communities effectively against the bandits. The brigade commander also charged them to adequately share credible information among the vigilantes and improve alertness in their communities.
Recently, we've given some of the communities motorcycles to aid their mobility while discharging their tasks. And it was brought to the fore the need for them to have a better means of communication in areas where the GSM coverage is lacking or none at all. In that regard, the command, Sector 1, Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji, decided to support further the civilian JTF by provision of radios, which you call walkie-talkies. These radios were configured and the channel streamlined for use by the civilian JTF, and it is well configured in a way that it will not be interfered with.
The chairman, Civilian Joint Task Force, Ahmed Mohammed, applauds the Commander 1 Brigade for his noble gestures, assuring that the Bofeng communication radios would greatly enhance their operational activities in the state. He further assured that they will operate according to the laid-down rules and regulations as well as respect human rights. Sandra Akbar for Global TV News.
Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo has taken a resolute stance to eradicate all obstacles impeding the smooth processing of international passports by the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS. Tunji-Ojo conveyed the approach during his inaugural visit to the NIS headquarters in Abuja on Wednesday. He declared that the extensive days endured by Nigerians while awaiting passport issuance are no longer tolerable. Acquiring a passport is a fundamental right, not a privilege, he emphasized. This is the time, according to him, to feel the pains of Nigerians and through government action show that the government cares. The minister asserted that a dedicated team was being set up comprising NIS officials and Ministry of Interior representatives to critically examine and recommend strategies that would dismantle the barriers that have hindered efficient processes. You're watching Global TV AM News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the AM News returns, Hurricane Ijala, downgraded to tropical storm, kills 3 in southeast U.S. We'll be back right after this short break with these and other stories for you. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the AM News from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has only been able to meet 47.6% of the federal government's monthly target of 2.5 million registrations in the fight 8 months of the year, according to findings. This is as the number of Nigerians with national identification numbers increased to 102.39 million in August, despite a slowdown in the number of enrollments. According to the NIMC data obtained and analyzed, enrollment has fallen by 35.14% year-on-year in the first 8 months of the year, as only 8.36 million as of August 28, 2023 people have enrolled for NIN so far this year from the 12.89 million people that had enrolled as of July 7, 2022. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mosimi Depot on Wednesday has threatened to drag the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPCL, to court over its refusal to supply its members petroleum products 8 months after payment for the products. The association said it was left with no other option than to drag the corporation to court by September, and should NNPC continue to deny its members supplies of the petroleum products earlier paid for through the Lagos depot between November 2022 and January 2023, when they were due for supplies. Speaking with journalists in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, IPMAN Mosimi Depot Chairman Otumba Femi Adelaja said it was disheartening on the part of the management of NNPC Mosimi Depot to exhibit the threat of a fraudulent organization by deliberately refusing to make supplies to available members whose businesses have been surviving on bank loans. Adelaja also called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, as well as other relevant anti-graft agencies to quickly wade into the matter before NNPC would succeed at chasing his members out of business. More than 70 people have died, from more than 50 have been injured after fire in central Johannesburg. Authorities said it's unclear what sparked the blaze at the 5-story building. Emergency stories said the fire gutted the building in the city center at around 1:30 a.m. of local time. Authorities say firefighters evacuated the building's occupants on arrival, and the search and recovery bodies is continuing. Reports suggest the occupants of the building were mostly African migrants. At least 5 people have died after a train hit railway workers at its high speed close to a station in Italy. The workers, aged between 22 and 52, were replacing part of a track outside the northern city of Turin when they were killed. They had been working on the line between Turin and Milan when the empty passenger train went through Brandizzo station at a reported 160 kilometers per hour. 2 workers survived unscathed while they were taken to hospital for observation. The train driver was treated at the scene for shock, but later sent home. He is expected to be questioned later about the incident. In a statement, Italian Railway Network, RFI, expressed its deep sorrow for the incident. Let's take a look at sports now. Ahead of next international break, some football fans are clamoring for the invitation of strikers Chuba Akpom, Cyril Dessers, Gift Orban, and others for the Dead Rubber 2024 Africa Cup of Nations clash between Nigeria and Sao Tome and Principe on September 10. The Super Eagles have already qualified for the Continental Showpiece event after a dramatic 3-2 win over Sierra Leone in their Group A clash at the Samuel Kayondo Sports Complex, Monrovia, Liberia in June, with a game to spare. After finishing second in the group, Guinea-Bissau are also through to the AFCON, while Sierra Leone and Sao Tome and Principe eliminated from the tournament. Sharon Ajay has an update on sports.
A bid to sign Super Eagles striker Kelechi Iheanacho by Crystal Palace from Leicester City is being threatened by the price tag on the player by his club. Crystal Palace is working on a deal and pushing to sign the 26-year-old and are willing to pay the price range between 10 to 15 million euros. Leicester City wants 18 million euro for the striker and negotiations are stalling. The striker has 56 goals in 210 appearances in all competitions in his 7 seasons at the club since joining from City for 25 million euro in 2017. According to reports, Iheanacho is keen on the move. Elsewhere, Minister of Sports Development John Eno has expressed his displeasure at the sensational reportage of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, yesterday. Eno has appealed to SWAN members to report him objectively, saying he appreciates the efforts of the association and assured he will not deliberately do anything wrong in the course of discharging his duty. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Sharon. And that's it on Global TV AM News live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Agumofwebe, thanking you so very much for watching. Global Morning continues shortly. Have a good morning.